Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Thursday. I'm Leslie Watkins. Today I'm going to circle back to that cute little seed packet that I made using the simple Zinnia stamps and especially the Simply Zinnia dies, which I think are wonderful. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to create a little box. I want to make a bunch of these as for a display for my in-person pop-up store. And so I thought it would be really cute to make a box that they could go in that would hold them up, that would coordinate. So that's what we're going to do today. And as usual, I've gone ahead and I've cut out extras of different flowers, leaves, and other things for the that correspond to both the DSP, which is beautiful. I'll show you that real fast. So this is called the Flowering Zinnias, and I'll just grab a handful of these designs, but you can see that they're these really wonderful bold colors that I think are so fun, and I plan on using these quite a bit as we come into zinnia season, because I'm going to have a whole bunch of zinnias growing in my gardens as well. So here's the back side. Just wonderful. So I've got all my pieces cut out and scored. I just need to make some cuts on my base for the box here, and we're going to do that together. And first I'm just checking to make sure that you can see and hear me, and that looks fine. And I see Kelly, good morning. So I'm going to just sort of pinwheel around here because this is a square box, and I'm just removing a little wedge shaped piece like so. Super simple, and this is not one of the reinforced boxes. However, I am going to add quite a bit to the sides in terms of layers, so they will be nice and sturdy. So there we go. There's my basic box shape. I'm just going to go ahead with my bone folder and go around and give that a light burnishing. And that's all there is for that. Now, however, I do want to decorate the box, and because it's easier to decorate the box while it's still unglued, I'm going to go ahead and grab my pieces. So you can see I've got some of that DSP, but the DSP does have a white core. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my Old Olive ink pad and my dauber, and I'm just going to go around the edges and knock that white core down. I don't want that to be popping out in my finished project here. So it just takes a second to do this, and I think it makes all the difference, so well worth the effort. As they say, it's all in the details, and I think that's so true. Oh, Charlotte. Hello, Charlotte. She says she's watching from work, and then it's raining in Texas again. Charlotte, have you had that awful flooding where you live in Texas? I know many of my Texas friends have been really going through the ringer with the weather, and I'm wondering about what it's like where you're at. Okay, so I think I got all of those. Missed a spot here. That looks pretty good. Now I want to make sure I get all the patterns right side up. Okay, so that's all there is to that. And what I'm going to do is I have my DSP, which stands for Designer Series Paper. I'm going to mount that onto these mats, and these little mats were cut out of the old olive cardstock. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on there. Just going around the perimeter. So I have well, actually I've got a whole bunch of broody hens. They've all been going crazy wanting to sit on the nest and have their own babies, but I've selected 2 broody hens that one of which I know is going to be an excellent mother, and that's Mamacita. And if you've excuse me, if you've been tuning in for a while, you know that Mamacita raises a brood of chicks every year for me. That's her job, and she's hilarious because typically it takes about 22 days for an egg to hatch. So the all the different hens in the flock will add eggs to the nest, but once one of the hens decides that she's going to be the broody hen and she commits to sitting on that clutch of eggs, it takes 22 days for them to hatch, and they aren't activated until they have that consistent heat that the hen gives them by sitting on them. And she'll pull out some of her chest feathers so that her nice warm skin will make contact with the eggs, and once that happens, they're good to go. So every year I have losses to my flock, of course, from natural causes, sometimes from a predator. Frequently it happens during the winter when they're a little bit stressed by the cold. And so every year I will replenish my flock with some new chicks. And half of those chicks are typically roosters, so they don't stick around for very long. And usually about 50% of the eggs that hatch are females or hens. Now last year was a little bit unusual. For some strange reason I had more rooster than hens, so that was unfortunate. But that's how I take care of my chicken situation, my chicken population. Now once I see that there's a broody hen is sitting on the eggs, I will take a soft pencil and I'll mark the date on those eggs. And that way I can count from that date 22 days, and I'll know when those eggs are going to start hatching. So getting back to Mama Zita, my main broody hen, she waits until she sees that the other hens have done most of the work. So they've been sitting on the eggs for about 10 days or so. And it's not until until the initial work is done that Mama Zita moves in and takes over and kicks everybody else out. So we had a little bit of a mix-up with the eggs this year because my wonderful assistant Rachel went out to the chicken coop and was bringing in the eggs, not knowing that I had set some aside to be hatched. And so they got a little bit mixed up. And so I had that cute little chick that you saw on my Facebook page named Primo. And he was the first one to be born. And he came a little bit early. That's why he was named Primo. Now, I also have these cute little plant stakes. And I've cut out several so that I can go ahead and add extra layers. I want these to be nice and stiff. So I've got 4 of them cut out. I think that should do it. So I'm just going to get these layered up. There we go. And then I'm going to put these 2 together. Now I'm putting the insides together so I have a finished outer layer on these. So anyway, so Mama Zita took over, and as the big day got closer, I moved her into a crate, so that, or a carrier, I guess you'd call it, a pet carrier, so that I could bring her in to make sure that none of the other chickens would hurt the chicks. Because sometimes if the hens are not sitting on the eggs and they're not inclined to be broody hens, they don't understand what the baby chick is, and they might think that it's a mouse or some kind of predator in the coop and kill it, which always makes me wonder. People say, oh, you shouldn't have chickens, they bring mice. Well, chickens will kill a mouse as fast as you can imagine. Chickens are predators. They will kill small amphibians, other birds, small mammals, you name it. They're tough, very tough. Okay, so I've got my stake ready to go, my little plant stake, and this is now 4-ply, so it's got nice and rigid, and I'm just going to put that aside to dry a little bit. Now, the way this box is going to come together is the sides are going to come up like this. So I want to make sure that my pattern has the top facing outwards. So I'm going to go around now and add my panel pieces to the sides of the box. So Mama Zita has been sitting on the eggs, and it's kind of amazing because at a certain point the hens can actually hear the baby chicks inside the ends, and they start inside the eggs, and they start talking to them. It's just amazing. And so and that way the chicks can recognize their mother's voice. So when she calls them, they know who to run to. So so little Primo hatched out early because of the egg mix-up, and so he didn't have a date, so we didn't know what was happening with him. And then the others began to follow right on time. So now Mama Zita has 6 little babies. They're absolutely adorable, all different colors. And today, or this morning, was a little bit rainy, so they are still inside, but I see the sun is coming out now, and if the sun stays long enough to dry out the grass, I will bring them outside and let them run around in the lawn. And then Mama Zita will show them. She'll dig around. She'll find little worms and bugs and all sorts of goodies, seeds, and call them excitedly to let them know that she's found something delicious, and they'll all come running to see what she's got for them, all the special treats. And she'll teach them how to do everything. Meantime, back in the coop, there were still a bunch of broody hens that were desperately hoping to have their own clutch of eggs. And I did have some backup eggs because, you know, not all of them always hatch, and some of them get broken, and you want to make sure you have the a number so that you have as many chicks as you want to add to the flock. And so the other clutch of eggs, which was dated a day or two later, was getting close to time. So now I had to pick a hen to be broody mom number 2. And the way I made my selection was, first of all, I don't want an aggressive hen. So you can have a very fierce hen who will protect the eggs, and she'll give you a good peck, and she'll be kind of grumpy. I want a sweeter hen because she's going to pass on that disposition to her babies. So that was number 1. Number 2, probably should be number 1, is that I needed somebody who was very committed, that was going to stick it out and be a good mother. And then I also, number 3, I needed somebody who would allow me to pick her up and move her, because I had to take her out of the nesting box and put her into the carrier so that I could protect her and her babies to come. So after all of that, I selected one of my gray hens, and I think it's, actually I haven't had a good look at her. I'm not sure if it's sesame seed or if it's marjoram. I know it's not oregano because she's a big girl, and this one's a little bit smaller. I think it's sesame seed. Marjoram has a little bit of brown on her chest. So I'll take a good look and figure that out. In any event, she had 6 eggs that she was sitting on, and now 3 of those eggs, actually no, 4 of those eggs have hatched. And so she's very excited, and it looks like we're going to have a really nice assortment of colors. One of her eggs hatched out into a pure white chick, and I have a couple of sort of grayish hens, but I don't have any pure white ones, at least not anymore. This may be some older genes left over from Geisha Girl, who you all wouldn't know because I had her early on, and she was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and she was a mostly white chicken. All right, so there are the sides to my box. Just want to make sure I get all my corners lined up nicely. They look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and give those flaps a nice firm burnish. Make sure that that glue is well distributed. Alright, so that's very cute. And here's my seed packet. So that's going to fit in there nicely. Of course, I'm going to make a bunch more. But I wanted to make it to look as though the flowers were popping out of the box and that the stems were on the sides. And I think that's cute. Now, one of these sides is going to be the front of the box. And I think I'll pick that one. They're all pretty close. And I have some extra flowers here that I cut out. And a little sign that I thought would be very fun. So here's my little seed sign. And I can go ahead and mount that on my stake. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Zoom you in a little bit so you can see better. Get that centered. Looks pretty good. Even. Hold that for just a moment. Make sure that I get some good adhesion here. So I've got that stake kind of sandwiched in between there, and I think that's cute. There we go. Now I have these flowers that I've already assembled. This one is not assembled yet, so let's go ahead and get that done. I want to give them just a little bit of a curl for added dimension. Have them coming in different ways. Okay. Oh, I think I need another center. I may have to get out the cut and emboss machine and cut out another center for this one. Let me double check my goodie bag, see if there's one in there. I don't see one. Okay, so, all right, bear with me while I cut another one out. I'm going to use the orange to do that. That's pumpkin pie. And the die is this little round one. So it just takes a second to run that through the machine. I'm so glad I don't have to fussy cut all these little pieces out, that we have the dies to help make it so much easier and more uniform. There we go. Oh, hi, Deb. Good to see Deborah here. Deb's one of my sidelines. I don't often get to see her. I'm always happy that you join us, Deb. Sandra, Carol, thank you so much for joining me today. Charlotte says no flooding in her area, but bad storms above and below us. Scary. Well, stay safe. All right. So now, so this little piece then becomes the center. Like so. And then we've got this beautiful little ring of anthers that go on top of that. And I'm going to grab my tweezers so I can see what I'm doing here. So cute. Really love this set. And then, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to snip that. Let me see. Got a couple here. Let me see if I can do this so that you can see what I see while I'm doing this. So see, I'm looking at this stem on the box. So I want to follow along with that, but I want this to pop up a little bit. So, you know what that means. Time for dimensionals. Okay, so dimensionals are just these little foam pads that are going to put a little distance between the flower. And actually, I'm going to put it down lower because I want it to overlap the top of the box there, like that. All right. So, just paying attention to where my dimensional is and where the stem is. Get that situated. That's pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to snip where that leaf is on the design, like so. Give that a drop of glue. Hold that down. Super cute. And then I also have all these leaves I can use as well, but before I get there I want to add this other flower. And so for this one, I think I'm gonna layer up 2 dimensionals, give it a little bit extra there. And that over here. Now I have that piece of stem left over, so I'm going to go ahead and use that. It's a little bit too long. Okay, pop that under. Make sure it's even. Oops. I'm making a mess with the glue here. It's okay, I've got a glue eraser. Once it's dry, I can go back and remove any excess glue. That looks cute. Now, I do have these extra tiny leaves. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off that end, and then going to use up the side pieces on the dimensionals. Excuse me. And hopefully that'll fit. It's a little bit wide. I'm just going to make it a little narrower. Oops. There's one leaf. And the other leaf. And then finally a little bit of glue on the stem. There we go. Get this petal out of the way. There. Okay, now I do have some of these pretty leaves that have the veins in them. And I'm going to go ahead and pop these up as well. I'm going to use the double set. Just like so. Get that situated on there. So there is the front of the box looking super cute. And then I have this little plant stake, which... let's see where I'm going to put that. I think I'll put that behind there a little bit like that. So let's get some glue on there. Spread that out a little bit. Tuck that under, like so. There we go. And I think I can get one more dimensional in that corner. There. All right, so that is my box. I love it. I think it's so cute. Let me just clean up the mess here a little bit so I can give you a good look at it. And I will check the comments in just a second to see if there are any questions. I still have extra pieces here if I want to add some more leaves. I may add a couple more leaves. So there it is. That's the front of the box, of course, and then I have my sides, and then my little seed pack will be able to fit in there. And I think I could probably hold about 10 of them or so, so quite a few. So there it is. How cute is that? I'll tell you what, if you don't have this simple zinnia set, I would recommend that you get it. I think it's adorable. Let me see if I can prop this up so you can see it. There you go. And also, for those of you who are considering joining, if you'd like to join the Dandelion Cottage design team and get that awesome deal on the starter kit, that's still going on. Tomorrow is the last day. And what that means is that you can select $125 of any products that you like in the current catalog and put them into your starter kit. It could include supplies, tools, stamps, whatever it is that you like, and only pay $99 for them. So $125 worth of product for only $99. You'll get free shipping, and for the month of May only, until tomorrow, you will also get another $80 or so of the new in colors. And let me see if I have a sample here to show you. So here, this is the color palette. Okay, so those are some of the new in colors. You will get cardstock, DSP, markers, and a full set of all 5 inks. So that comes to another $80. So we're talking about over $100 of bonus items in your starter kit. So if you are interested, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. I'll walk you through the process. I'd love to have you on my design team. We learn a lot, we share designs, we have Zoom get-togethers. I've got people from across the country and they're absolutely wonderful. We have a lot of fun. So keep that in mind. You can go to dandelioncottagedesign.com, find the join button, and just click on that, and it'll give you all the information, because there's a whole lot of other stuff that I'm not even mentioning right now, and you might want to check that out. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you love what I made. I sure do. And I will be back next week on Wednesday for Watercolor Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and again on Thursday for Paper Crafting Thursday, also at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.